evening. Welcome to the Pinstripe Chronicles after our first win. I'm Uncle Taz. I'm here with Rob Donald and our special guest this evening, NFV and Damian Serrano. How is everybody doing? What a freaking win that was. Holy shit. A year ago, that is a loss after the first inning if we ever saw one, but not this year. Not with Juan Soto in the lineup. Not with Verdugo in the lineup. Not, we are not seeing this at all last year. I enjoyed every second of that game. I mean, I could have done without Cortez. We'll get into him, but a win is a win is a win. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter how you do it. It's a win in the books when the season is over. How did everybody enjoy the game? No, NFV, let's kick it off with you.
All right. That game was I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's like game one. My nerves were the nerves were kicking in, especially when Nestor was not pitching well. They were hurting him big time, but then he turned it around. I like the fact that he turned it around, because if that was last year's Nestor Cortez, he would have been out by the second inning. But the bats came through when it mattered, right? Where you didn't see that in 2023. Soto got his hit. He got that crucial out in the bottom of the ninth. I mean, what more can you ask for? The Yankees did everything they had to do to win this game. So I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Every day of the week, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Damian, you're the next guest with us today. Give us your thoughts on today.
Classic Yankees Astros. I mean, that's about as good as it gets when it comes down to the Yankees and the Astros. It always comes down to that ninth inning. It always comes down to a one-run game, and it's always a 50-50 whether the closer's gonna shut the game out or cough it up. So thank God for Juan Soto tonight, because Clay Holmes would have done what he always gives us. As good as his numbers are, for whatever reason, Clay Holmes always seems to really give me heavy anxiety. And I put it immediately, even before he threw the first pitch in the chat, I threw it in there. I said, here goes my anxiety is going through the roof already, even before his first pitch. But listen, Verdugo, Soto, obviously the two big additions to the team this offseason, they came up huge in this game. Without them in this game, we don't win this game. So, listen, that speaks volumes. And I tell you what, I watched Soto before and after the game in both these interviews, and I can tell you what, Soto wants to go nowhere else but stay in New York with the Yankees. The guy is so all in, and the only thing the Yankees have to do is pay him. That's it. I don't care what other team throws a number at him. As long as it's a number that he's comfortable with, he's staying. So, listen, I'm excited. I'm through the roof, and listen, I can't wait for tomorrow's game and the next and the next and the next.
Rob, how you feeling?
Oh, man, I mean, can't say enough about Juan Soto, but I want to give some props to my dude Anthony Volpe. That he looks like a whole ball player out there.
Absolutely.
My goodness.
100%.
His at-bats are beautiful today. He didn't have any bad at-bats, in my opinion. Everything looked good. He was taking the right pitches. The swing was level. He got on base, took what the pitcher was giving him, wasn't pressing, and he looked great defensively too. He was firing some bullets out there at shortstop. It's like people heard the criticism about his arm. It's like he heard, what's up, Pete? He's like he heard the talk about saying, oh, maybe he'll move to second base. He's like, nah, I took that one personally. He doesn't want to move anywhere. He looked good out there, man. I was really happy for Volpe. Obviously, Juan Soto is the talk of the town right now. He saved the game. Without a doubt. We don't win that game without Juan Soto. He was fantastic. And how about Oswaldo with that freaking nuke out to right field? I mean, everyone stepped up today in every way possible. Yeah. It's a great win because, again, we all said it already, and I'm sure we'll say it again. They don't win this game last year. They lose this game like 10-2, something like that. They score a couple of runs in the ninth when it doesn't matter. So hats off to Glaber. Glaber. Hats off to Nestor. Hats off. I saw Glaber's name in the chat from Lynn. Hats off to Nestor. Hats off to Volpe, to Soto, to Judge for the double. Rizzo's defense at first was nice. Verdugo's defense and left was fantastic as well. It was a great win. And yeah, from the very first pitch, Clay Holmes, and I knew Donald was just throwing stuff around. I knew that first pitch, I'm like, oh no. I'm like, here we go. But thankfully the defense bailed them out. My goodness.
Yeah, we were in the group chat, and a couple of us are like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Oh crap!" Yeah. It's like, here we go. But Donald, how you feeling, bro?
Pretty pumped, as you could tell.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to go into my deep dive very soon, and I'll get into everything. I do want to give a shout out to someone who's not been mentioned yet. Verdugo earned his stripes today, boy. He got the go-ahead RBI, and that catch that he made, about, I would say 90% of left fielders in baseball don't make that play. That was an incredible play in left field to save a run, because that was right in the gap, and that was going to score the game tying run. So you have to give Verdugo a lot of credit for that catch. It was an awesome catch, and his at bats were really good. Apart from the double play, his at bats were really good. So I think we should give credit to Verdugo. He earned his stripes. But the story is Juan Soto. I mean, the story is Juan Soto. We have Juan Soto. No one else does. So that's why we're one of the favorites for the World Series, just for that alone, because we got Juan Soto, and he looks absolutely locked in, man. You saw how much it meant to him throwing out the runner. I can't believe he did it, man. He's our closer now as well. So what? No, not only is he the best hitter in baseball, but he's kind of our closer as well. I mean, incredible, man. But I mean, we're gonna get into the deep dive of the game and things like that. But I have to say, start spreading the news. We have Juan Soto. I want to be a part of it. New York.
All right, pinstripe karaoke. Over here. Yeah, no, we are definitely going to get into a deeper dive. If you've enjoyed, if you're happy about the win, smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button. Share this out. No, look, I think there was one thing that was pointed out that is crucial to the win. Besides the at bats from Juan Soto, that catch from Verdugo. Last year, we didn't have a left field to make that catch.
Oh yeah,
that was huge. As soon as he made that catch, you're like, you know what? We're actually going to win this freaking game. We could actually pull this out. Holy crap! You know, it was that optimistic moment that we've been longing for. So yeah, hats off to Verdugo. He came to play, and damn did he play. The other thing was with the offense, they made the Astros work on the mound. There were no cheap at bats in this game.
That was Yankees baseball.
They grinded, like, you went down 4-0, and you like, you know, all the double plays, the missed opportunities with bases loaded, and you're like, oh, fuck it. You know, I'm like, yeah, new cast, same script. You know, here we go again. And nope, not this year. This is why we've been saying, don't underestimate this offense saving the pitching. You know, the run production that this offense can put up, it might not be right away. You know, like we saw today. It might take a couple innings for them to. It's also opening day, all the opening day jitters and all of that. You know, all the new components to the team. Sometimes it takes a couple innings in a real game for everything to click. You know, because we saw once they got through the lineup a couple of times, it's like, you know what? I'll have your back if you have mine. And they just kept feeding off each other. You know, and it was not an easy pitch game for Houston.
No.
You know, because you're looking at 4-0, you're like, yep, it's the Astros. You know, at the end of the game, it's like, it was the Astros. You know, it's a different just a different vibe today than we've seen the last few years. How do you guys feel about that, Rob?
The only Astro pitcher that made it look easy was Hader because he just burned through us in that ninth inning. But other than that, I mean, Soto's first at bat, he would have like a 9-pitch at bat, draws a walk. Unfortunately, Judge hit the double play, but they had Valdez throwing a ton of pitches. And when he started walking everybody and he was hitting people, like that's our best chance to chip away because they couldn't stop hitting in the double plays. And eventually that's exactly what happened. But that's how the Yankees used to beat you back in the day, whether it was the dynasty years or the 2009 season. They used to just work the counts, make you uncomfortable, and then someone's going to get the big hit. We didn't get to see that big hit with guys on base yet, but it was the constant walks, take full counts, getting hit by pitches, whatever it may have been. They were taking what the pitching was giving them. And last year they would have tried to play hero ball. Oh, the bases are lowered. I'm going to go swing for the fences. Now they're just like, hey, you're not hitting the zone. I'm not going to swing. That's what kept us in this game, and that's what brought us back and ended up helping us win the game. Was just they're not going to let them beat themselves. They're going to let the pitchers beat themselves, and they're going to take advantage of that. And it was a scrappy win, and that's what we like to see because we don't get enough of those, and we haven't gotten enough of those.
Yeah, definitely. Donald, what did you think about the approach of the play today?
It did remind me of the dynasty, I have to say. A lot of really good long at-bats, particularly Anthony Volpe. His at-bats were really something else. He drew long counts. He didn't expand the zone. It was a quite incredible performance from Anthony Volpe. This is night and day from last year. I don't know what's happened. Like, this is incredible. The turnaround. This is a guy that had an uppercut swing and expanded the zone. And first game of the new season, and he is a completely different player. Really nice level swing, and his at-bats were just literal perfection. So he really was one of the guys that really resonated for me with the long at-bats. Juan Soto's got the most perfect strike zone in the world. There's no one like it. He was the one that was actually telling the umpire what was a ball and strike. Did you notice that? Second at bat, I know. No, you're doing a shitty job. So this is how it goes, right? If I'm not swinging at it, that means it's a ball. Okay, you learn, you got it. Cool. And that is just freaking fantastic. So Juan Soto's got the most perfect strike zone, and everyone worked a really deep count. They obviously double play sucked, but for the most part, we had. Did we have like 17 base runners in the first like 5 innings? It was ridiculous. Like we just continued to force the pitcher into throwing more and more and more, and eventually we broke through. That was like the Joe Torre Yankees. That's what the Joe Torre Yankees were based around. You know, if you can just creak that door open, we will eventually break through. We'll break that door down. That was the Yankees. That was always the dynasty motto, you know. And that was kind of the feeling I got because 4-zip down, we continued to load the bases. We continued to have perfect at bats. I mean, last season, the year before that, the year before that, even if the Yankees went down, they were pretty much done. Like, you know, down 4-zip, that's it. Because their at bats panicked, but not this team. This team 1 through 9, man, none of them panicked. So that's a different mentality, I have to say. Definitely, one of the biggest takeaways I have is the attitude, the energy. Holy shit, there's energy in this team. That's why it feels like it's more than just one win. It feels like it means more than just one win, because I mean the Yankees' energy was just phenomenal. Do you see how much it meant to them? See how much it meant to Verdugo, not only for getting the sac fly, but also that catch. It meant a world to him. Juan Soto, it meant the world to him to put on that Yankee uniform. You could tell how much it means to him. And Aaron Judge is really showing how much of a captain he is. You can just see that there's a different mentality here, man. This team is locked in. Ian Hamilton just locked in on the mound. You see how much it meant to him to pitch that perfect inning. Loaiza getting out of that jam, he was celebrating. Like there was just a different mentality, different edge. And I actually saw that the first week of spring, and I was thinking, you know what? I think this team kind of locked in. And obviously spring was just boring. They all just were like, can we just hurry up and get to opening day? And as soon as opening day hit, they started to ball out again. So different mentality, guys. Now, I think this is going to resonate through the rest of the year. I think you're going to see quality at bats, and you're going to see an energy that we haven't seen in years with this Yankee team. So I really have to give credit to Aaron Boone, Brian Cashman, and the organization for really pushing this new mentality that we haven't really seen since the 2017 Joe Girardi Yankees.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, the offense was just grinding. It's another metaphor to what you were saying. You put enough cracks in the dam, eventually the water's going to break through.
Yep.
And that's what the offense was able to do today. And the Astros are not a pushover team. So, it was going to be a fight. And it's not like we made it easy for them without, with the pitching either. Once Nestor settled in, it was almost like they got taken out of the game. Damian, did you get that sense with, we'll switch it up with the to the pitching, but when it comes to Nestor, where the first couple of innings, we're all in, going back and forth, going, this is not what we signed up for. But
Man,
you look at the pitching staff overall with the starting and to the bullpen. What'd you see?
I tell you what, pitching staff was great today. If Johnny Lowe can actually stay healthy throughout the entire season, which we have yet to actually see, if he can stay healthy and they try to attempt to make him that 2-inning pitcher, man, he's gonna save the bullpen even more. He's gonna save a lot of arms in that bullpen. Ian Hamilton, man, the dude is rock solid out there. I said it earlier in the spring training, during spring training earlier that, the guy has closer stuff. He can be a closer one day. That fastball reaches 97, 98. That Slambio he throws, and he's just gritty. No emotion out there. Has the Chapman sweat going. I mean, he's sweating profusely out there. But listen, the guy is rock solid. And of course, Clay is Clay, and you never know what you're gonna get, but you always know come that very first pitch, you know what you're gonna get out of Clay Holmes. Right from the very beginning. Absolutely. What scared me because the first pitch he threw, damn near took off the guy's head off. But I said, oh man, here we go. And again, if it wasn't for Soto, for Verdugo, those two guys in the outfield, that game is they probably take the lead and they probably walk off on us. This is about as a complete team win as it gets, top to bottom, offensively, defensively, pitching staff, all around. So, sky's the limit for this team. If we can stay healthy, which is obviously a big if, but if we can stay healthy, we can keep the bullpen fresh with days like today, having Loaiza go going 2 innings, getting an inning out of Hamilton, getting that inning out of Clay. We can keep arms fresh. Listen, sky's the limit for this team. And like you said, listen, Anthony Volpe, like we said in the group chat, I mean, this is night and day. The guy is a completely different hitter. And, one day the kid might be the leadoff hitter. Don't be surprised if he continues this trajectory come August, July, he'll become that leadoff hitter.
Maybe sooner than that.
Yeah, it could be even sooner than that, so we'll see. But, man, it's one game. We all know that. But to start this season off the way we did against the arch rivalry being the Houston Astros, and, not for nothing, we shut down our biggest pain in the ass, which is Jose Altuve. We didn't have to hear much from Altuve. They're big guys, really. Altuve, Tucker, and then the other big guy, I forget his name, but we all know who he is. Yeah, Alvarez. I mean, those guys were shut down. So it was the other guys on the team that really made any difference. The number 9 hitter with the home run. So we kept the big guys off the pads. And if we can continue to do that throughout this series, and throughout the year, I mean, the Yankees can win this series easy 3-1. So listen, I can't wait for tomorrow. Rodon's on the bump, and as long as I can see Rodon, that 96, 97 out of him consistently, and him continue to do what he's built on in the spring training, man, we can win this series easily. Sweep, yeah, far-fetched, but you never know.
No, you don't.
Well, facts, Damien. See, with Clay Holmes, right? You can tell with the first two pitches exactly who he is, right, or what he was going to do tonight. First of all, he ain't no Roger Clemens. Now, Roger Clemens would sometimes get you off the plate by throwing a fastball.
He'd do it on purpose.
Take your head off. That would get you off the plate in order for him to dominate the strike zone. Clay Holmes just did it because he's fucking wild. And then the second pitch, he grooved the pitch right down the middle of the plate, and it was a hard hit ball for a base hit. That's Clay Holmes. That's Clay Holmes, man, because he's wild and softer than melted chocolate. So he cannot be your closer. I'm telling you, we got so lucky because if that's not Juan Soto in right field throwing that guy out, 2-run score, and the Yankees lose. So,
but yeah, that's not Verdugo in left field. I told in the group chat, I said, "Oh man, this is how it feels to have a left fielder."
It's amazing. Outfielders are all legit major league outfielders, but Clay Holmes would donate his salary to Juan Soto. For
his game check. His game check. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Put the save in the save column for Juan Soto, not Clay Holmes.
No doubt.
Yeah, and like Demon D is saying, and everybody in the chat, we're following along. We appreciate every single one of you. But Demon Soto was the equalizer. Absolutely. But NFE, I want to get your opinion on this. I want you to give us the breakdown on Cortez because you were very you had a lot of big question marks about him coming into the season. So give us your take on Cortez's outing.
I mean, we all saw, the first 3 innings he got knocked around. He was looking like 2023 Nestor Cortez, but then before he was taken out, he turned it around. He looked good. He was getting out of the innings quickly. That was what I wanted to see. I wanted to see him bounce back. Whereas last year, you didn't see that with him. He would give up, a bunch of hits, bunch of runs. Opposing teams were owning him, and I thought it was going to be the same thing. Because he gave up 3 runs in that first inning, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, here we go. I was like, this is why he was my question mark. But then again, he turned it around. He looked great, and then the bats came through. So that was which was good. The offense came through. They needed to come through, and it put him at a little bit more ease. So after him pitching 5 innings and the way he went out, I was very happy with that. The only thing with Nestor though, he can't go out there every single game and give up 3-4 runs in an inning, and then have the Yankees have to play catch up. That can't happen. But it was encouraging to see him go out the way he did. So he did leave on a positive note. So I can't have any complaints about that. So that's how I feel about Nestor.
Yeah, it wasn't the most positive results, but he left on a positive note.
Exactly. Yeah, he left on a positive note, and that was just it. And when he was getting out of those innings quickly after having a rough couple of first innings or a couple of innings, he turned it around, and the offense came through. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll take this. I will take that from Nestor, considering what we saw last year.
Not only that, but for him to retire the last 14 out of 15 batters, 13 out of 14 with a deep Houston team, that says a lot. That does.
The big change was that he got away from his fastball, because his fastball is a BP fastball. It was like 89, 90, flat as a kipper's dick, and it was right down the middle of the plate. And he was getting bombed. Like, that dude has a batting practice fastball. He cannot use it. But what he did was he moved off of it. He started mixing in other pitches, locating them better. And like, for instance, a few more sweepers in there. And he got away from that fastball, and that was a big difference. He got them off balance, and he got some quick outs, and and he saved the bullpen. So I'll give him that. But am I still concerned about Cortez? Absolutely, I really am. I'm not impressed by a lot of his go-to pitches, quite honestly, and Houston teed off on him. We got very, very lucky, but that it wasn't a lot worse. So, I don't think that 7.71 ERA that he had in spring is an anomaly. I think that there's some issues there, but I'll take it. I'll take it. He got us. He saved the bullpen, which was huge because at one point I thought Birdie was going to come in the first inning. So the fact he managed to eat some innings and not completely blow up the scoreboard, then I'll give him that. I still think there's an element of Jeremy Lin vibes from him. I think the the gloss is a little bit taken off of him a little bit. I don't think he'll ever be the all-star that he was, but he did eat the innings, and I'm just very happy that he mixed the pitches. That's what he had to do. Started mixing in his other pitches, and they're so much better than his fastball. So maybe that's
I don't
something
know
that
if
he
you
can
realize him interacting with Cole between one or two of the innings. And that's when things started to click a little bit, and you started to see a little bit more of a mix-up of his pitches where he was using more breaking stuff to keep them off balance, so they weren't able to just sit on his fastball.
Yeah. Can we get Garrett Cole to do the mound visits?
I'm all for that.
Dude's the best pitching coach in the world.
Yeah. And I know, it's. I also do believe Matt Blake was, he's got to be involved at some point for the in-game adjustments. But when you see him interacting with Cole and that they're going through shoulder motions, I think that was a very pivotal moment in between innings for the two of them. But you also have to take him. One thing I thought about after he came out of the game was you saw the level of the at-bats from the Yankees, in the early innings. And it was almost like he's like, you know what? This offense is different from last year, and they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out the Astros pitching. I'm going to keep, I'm going to straighten up. I'm going to keep them in the game. I'm done giving up runs and save the bullpen. And almost like he had like that whole mentality shift.
Yeah.
Along with the interactions with Cole, and I'm sure Blake said a couple of things, of course. But, Rob, I want to get your take on it also, because in the first inning, we saw Birdie warming up. And I'm like, I said, Rob's going to, this is going to be a mixed bag of emotions for Rob. Ness is getting taken out early. Here comes Birdie in the bullpen to save the inning. Rob, what did you think about the pitching today?
Once Nestor started throwing the sweeper a little bit more and the breaking stuff, and he seemed to pitch mad, he was starting to. After the strikeout of Altuve, I'm like, okay, he's locked in, and then he got lit up. So I was just wondering what the heck happened between at bat 1 and at bat 8, because 8 guys came up in that first inning, and he gave up the home run in the second, but then after that, he was fine. He was getting out of innings quickly. He was throwing a better mix of pitches, and he looked like 2022 Nestor again. And that's what we want to see. No one's asking this guy to go out there and give us 7 innings, but we are also asking not to give up 4 or 5 runs an inning and put us in a spot where we have to either come back or use the bullpen. When I saw Birdie warming up, I was pissed. I'm like, this game 1, and I already got a bullpen get burned out. And I was just thinking, why couldn't they have just pushed Rodon to start game 1, or maybe they should have signed Blake Snell. All the emotions were going through my head at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And it was it was one game. Obviously, we're not going to go too crazy about it, but you can't ignore how bad Nestor Cortez looked in the spring. He did look bad, and all of those issues came back in that first inning. He was getting tattooed. Everything was hit hard, except for Altuve's at bat because he swung and missed. But everything was hit hard, and you're just like, this is exactly what happened to him in the spring. He can have a good inning, but his bad inning is a really bad inning, and that puts you in a spot where you're going to have to make a comeback. And we said the offense will have to do that. Without Garrett Cole, they're going to have to survive it. They're going to have to bop their way to some victories, and they did. But it was encouraging to see him bounce back, and it was also encouraging to see Loaizaga give us 2 innings. Hamilton looked just as good as he did last year. And, then there's Clay Holmes. I'm hoping that his next outing, we see him throw a strike on pitch one, and we'll feel a lot more confident, because that first pitch almost killed the man. And I'm thinking, well, this was fun while it lasted. And I got flashbacks to Chapman in Houston in 2019. I got flashbacks to every blown save from Chapman and Holmes from the last few years. But luckily, the defense behind him saved them. So I think overall, outside of Holmes, the pitching was fine. But the fact that that's the guy that we have to have as our closer, I said it yesterday that we did our show. If he has a bad first 2 weeks, they got to yank him from that closer role. They cannot give him a long leash. So far, not a good sign with him, but we'll see how outing number 2, 3, and 4 go. But so far, I'm really, I thought Holmes looked terrible, which is certainly not a good way to start the season.
You know how we moved on from Chapman? We're all relieved. Well, he's metamorphosing new Chapman. But I do want to give a big shout out to everyone in the chat, because we've got quite a lot here. So let's do a quick salute to everybody here. Salute to Blue Gold. I told you about Holmes. Bro, you didn't tell me about Holmes. I've been in front of that train for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
None of us are surprised by Holmes.
No. Sean Browning, wetland syndrome. Salute to Sean. How are you doing, my guy? Wetland, oh my God. Acevedo, how you doing? J-Lo did great too, and that strikeout was great. He was unbelievable. And that second inning, he got tagged a couple times, but he maintained poise on the mound and just threw some perfect pitches to get out of that situation. So I have to give him a ton of credit. That's what we're talking about, heart. That's the kind of mentality you need as a closer. Him and Hamilton are 1 and 2 right now as to who should be our closer once Clay Holmes blows it. Demon D, I can't wait to bring Jason Dominguez. Is there any possible way we could put Jason on third base? Bro, let's go Birdie. Birdie is a baller. He is a baller. I'm really excited about Birdie being our third baseman until DJ LeMahieu's back. But no disrespect to Ozzy. And in his first at bat, he looked overmatched.
Really?
His first at bat, Ozzy looked overmatched, but then the next few at bats was great. And that home run, boy, that was like a golf shot. It was beautiful. Well, what else we got in the chat? We got Mike Perez. Salute, Mike Perez. How you doing? Al Marast. Hello. We got Donnie Clark. Hello. Who else we got? We got Lynn. Salute to Lynn. Jonathan. Salute, Jonathan. Salute, Frank Rivera. It was cool to see Pete jump in there. Salute to the boss.
Yes, sir.
Salute. Yo. Jacob Petruzzi. Yo. CWE. Yo. We got Joan. Let's go Stevie B. We got 0-1. We got the usual suspects. It was great that everyone's jumped in. Birdie would be really good. I agree, Donnie. I absolutely agree. I think he's an absolute steal. We'll break that down for you very soon. We got Sunil. Salute, Sunil. How are you doing, my guy? Really good to see everyone in the chat. Salute to JT. I got a feeling that this is going to be the theme to this season. They got that dog in them. They do. They have that fight. I love it. I'm so excited about that. That's what I'm most excited about. That's why it felt like it was more than just one game. There just seems to be a different energy about this team. Salute, Frederick.
Now,
one thing go ahead, Chats. Go ahead.
No. Say what you got to say.
No, I was going to say, I wonder, with obviously the offense being what the offense is this year, last year these pitchers had to be, and they came out feeling like they had to be absolutely perfect. Yep. And when they have to be perfect and they think they have to be perfect, that's when they hurt themselves. So I wonder with the new lineup, the new offense, with our pitchers at this point have to adjust back to saying, listen, I'm going to be myself and I'm just going to throw free and clear and let the offense take care of me. Because, listening to the post game, there was players going up to Nestor saying, listen, dude, we got your back. Just go out there and do your thing. That's what he was saying during the post-game show. And after he heard that confidence from his teammates, from the offense, which, let's face it, if people came up to him last year and they said that to him, he probably said, thanks, guys, I appreciate you having my back. But he turned around and saying, yeah, right, Willie Bang Bang, you're going to do that for me? Okay. So with the offense being what it's being now, I could truly see this team, the pitchers knowing, listen, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to throw a strike on every damn pitch. I need to go out, throw free and easy. This is not Jordan Montgomery where he only got, one run of support last year where they only got 1-2 runs of support. These guys are going to have support. They know they don't have to be perfect, which is going to change this entire outlook of the pitching staff for this season. Just to your point earlier, Tat.
1,000%.
Yeah, and the other thing that I took away from the game was, and it comes in line with that bulldog mentality. But this also resets the tone for the Yankee-Astros rivalry because they are a rival at this point. No, really nobody else in the AL. Right? They're the team that has just beat the shit out of us, with one hand behind their back. Right? When you see the Yankees grind out a win like this in their ballpark, does this, if they're able to, and we only have one game to go on, so that's what we're going to go on.
Exactly.
So does this change the mental strength of the Yankees organization that, this is a new year. We don't have to be afraid of, those Astros moments. We can rely on the Yankee moments. Because last year, after that play from Glaber, when you have, with that very weird throw that he should have never thrown the ball, that's my opinion. I think he should have just swallowed it. And then Altuve comes up to the plate, and you're like, oh, fuck, here we go. You can't give this team those extra outs.
Exactly.
Today was a very different narrative. You couldn't give the Yankees the extra out. Do you think that's going to kind of flip the script a little bit going forward as far as the Yankees not feeling like, they're constantly going uphill? Donald, we'll start with you.
It's a great point, man. It's a really good point by you and Damian there. The pressure is off our pitching staff. They don't need to throw shutout ball now. We don't need our starters to go 7 innings shutout like they did last year. It's an unrealistic amount of pressure on our bullpen and our starting rotation last year because we couldn't hit worth a shit, and it really just wore out our lineup. And I think it wore out Garrett Cole, hence the elbow injury, because he was carrying the team on his back. The dude was having to pitch an unbelievable amount of innings to keep to keep games alive because we couldn't do anything for him. It was very frustrating.
Absolutely.
Fast forward, and I love our offense. It's so deep, man. When you add Wells in there at catcher, when you add Birdie in there, that's going to combine with Ozzie Cabrera, who's shown that he can still hit, and then it's just deep. It's a really nice mixture between lefties and righties. There's a mixture between speed. There's a lot of contact, and there's a lot of guys that don't expand the zone. So that means that we're consistently going to get great at bats, and it now feels like no lead that opposition has on us is safe. I really feel that. Like, if we put together consistently great at bats, which we did today, we'll score a ton more than we did today. Just the amount of people that we put on base, just in normal circumstances, we put up 10 or 11 runs, 12 runs with the amount of people that we put on base. So I'm very excited about it. I think our offense is in really good shape. And so there is less pressure on our rotation. It's huge, huge difference that it makes. So I completely agree with everyone's point there. I like Sunil's point here. Can you imagine how deafeningly loud it would have been in the Bronx with Soto's assist? Bro, I'll tell you what. The Bronx is going to explode when Soto hits a walk-off home run this year at Yankee Stadium because it's going to happen. And when he does, the Bronx is going to literally explode. You can hear it. You'll hear it from Australia. So Captain Kangaroo in the chat is going to hear it. It's going to be unbelievable, man. It's going to be heard all over Europe. It's going to be massive. I can't wait. I'm absolutely psyched to watch Soto and Judge at Yankee Stadium because it's what dreams are made of, man. It's what it's all about. It's so good. It's almost a cheat code. Two of them combined. Ridiculous.
Yeah, but NFE, what do you think about how do you feel about like a win like today kind of flipping the script on the rivalry where we're not going to get pushed around like we had been.
I mean, you look at the bats alone, the offense, man. It just they.
Again, if he got frozen.
Well,
Yeah.
they were making the opposing pitchers work. It wasn't just a simple 1, 2, 3, you're out, right?
All right, we'll let NFB reset a little bit. Damian, you want to give us your take on it?
Oh man, one thing I want to say is give a shout out to the hitting coach James Rosen. There was a statement by Cabrera. Obviously, we all know Ozzie was having a terrible spring training. James Rosen pulled him aside and said, "Listen, dude, just be yourself. Don't go out there and try to hit home runs. Just play within yourself." And that alone changed his whole mentality to his offensive game. So Cabrera, man, the kid can be exactly what we need him to be, a super utility. Play everywhere, be in a kind of like DJ when DJ first came with us. As long as he can keep that bat live, and he's shown within the last few weeks that, listen, he can do it. He showed it when he first came up. The Yankees tried to change him, and they had a million different voices in his head, and then of course he just fell flat in his face. So I just want to give a shout out to James Rosen because he got him back on track, and he's if he could do that with that kid, he could do it with the entire staff. So just give him a little bit of credit because finally I think we have a batting coach that is actually there for the players, not just looking at a tablet and saying, "Hey, this is what I see." I see, he's doing both analytically and he's old school. So James Rosen, much credit to him, and I think he's going to do a phenomenal job for from here on out for as long as he's with us. So I think we finally got our guy. But as far as the team, the season, as I said before, the sky's the limit as long as we can continue to grind out our bats, play Yankee baseball, which we went back today. The Yankees have always been known to grind out at bats. I was watching Framber, and Framber, man, tell you what, Framber has some nasty stuff. The movement on his pitches are crazy. But every inning, the guy was throwing anywhere from 15 to 20 pitches. So came fifth, sixth inning, he was done. He was toast. Luckily for him, we didn't capitalize early because anytime a pitcher gives up 5 walks, we should have a lot more runs than what we did today. So we kind of let him off the hook a little bit, but I'm only going to chalk that up to being the first game of the season. Yeah. Once these guys start to get locked in, man, forget about it. 1 through 9 is a grind out battle. John Birdie coming in here now. He's going to add speed on the bags. Man, that's such a such a sneaky underrated good move. Signing. It is such an underrated move by Cashman. Everyone knows I don't always give Cashman his flowers, but I'm going to give him his flowers on that. He didn't stop looking. When the pencils really weren't down this year as they've said in the past when they really were. So John Birdie addition to this team, and listen, Cole being out there with their guys, he doesn't have to be out there. He doesn't have to be with the team. So that says a lot for Cole to be out there as well with his guys, with his pitchers. In Nestor's ear, Lord knows he's going to be in every single pitcher's ear. He's going to be on the tablet himself, showing them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, what to change, what to work on, so on and so forth. So the outlook, the mentality of this team, it's I know it's one game, guys, but man, I got butterflies in my stomach, and I'm happy as a pig and shit. So here we go, guys. Honestly, man, I'm really hyped about this season.
No, the way we were interacting back and forth. The way we were interacting back and forth during the game. I mean, you talk about a roller coaster of emotion. I remember at one point, like early in the game, after the solo shot, I'm like, how do you give up a home run to the ninth hitter? And I'm like, Twitter's on fire right now, and I'm like, then I put in like parentheses, I'm like, obvious overreaction. game's over, the season's over, trade everybody.
Yeah.
But NFA, now that you're done being frozen in time, I want to let you finish your thought on the turnaround in the rivalry.
Yeah, I apologize for that. No, like I was saying, the bats, it was just a night and day difference compared to last year because if this was the 2023 Yankees and they were down 3-0, that game would have probably ended 3-0 or 4-0, right? There was no way that they were going to make this comeback. There was no way they were going to make their adjustments. They weren't going to, give the opposing pitcher a hard time, basically, like having them throw a lot of pitches. It was just going to be like 2023 Yankees. It was just a simple 1-2-3 out. Okay, go back out there and try to get these guys out again. But no, they worked the count. They were patient at the plate. They grinded it out. They hustled. They showed grit. I mean, I know it's one game, like Damian said, but
it's the only one we should go open right now.
Oh, we got D-Rod. He's out of the closet. What's up, D-Rod?
Yeah.
D-Rod, man, it's been a while.
Yeah. Now, once in a while, he'll comment on some of my videos, and I'm just like, oh, look, they let him out of the closet. So, but you know what? I know it's only one game, like Damian said, but I mean, it was very encouraging to see, though, right? Because again, you didn't with the offense, you did not see that kind of hustle or that kind of grit last year, and this game they showed it. So they made the opposing pitchers work. So once they settled down, I mean, those first couple of double plays that they got into was frustrating, but after that, they turned it around. They did whatever they had to do to get that win, and it was encouraging to see, especially on an away game against the Astros in their home opener. So it was a good sign. It was a great sign.
And not only that, I think the loss of Martin Maldonado played a huge factor for the Houston
100%.
Astros.
Mm-hmm.
It's so underrated what he did for that staff that the Houston Astros, from their starting pitching in that middle relief, they're in trouble, guys. Houston Astros middle relief, they're in trouble. Now, once it gets to Hader, sure, obviously Hader's going to lock it down. But the Houston Astros middle relief, they are absolutely in trouble. They don't have that same bullpen as they had before. So unless they better get on the horn, they better find something. With the loss of Maldonado, with the loss of some key pitchers that left, they're in trouble as far as their bullpen. So it's not the same Houston Astros team. Offensively, yes, but pitching staff, no.
Rob, let's get you involved, man. What are you thinking of what you're seeing about this team and how it resonates? And it's just one game, but how do you think it'll resonate for the rest of the season? You're seeing signs like, for instance, our offense.
I'm encouraged about it. I like the fact that Cabrera, he's going to be hitting better from the left side. I think they're going to keep him over there like exclusively, although they did have him back from the right side, which I think he needs to stay on the left side of the plate. He's better over there. I love the Birdie trade. I really love that trade. I'm hoping he plays tomorrow. I don't want to see him sit, but it's hard to bench a guy after he hits a home run, but we've seen the Yankees do that all the time. So we'll see if they do it again tomorrow. I like speed. I really, really like speed, and Birdie has that, and he's got a lot of it, and he plays really good defense all over the place. So it's going to be interesting when LeMahieu comes back and when Dominguez comes back, what they do with this roster. Because Birdie's not going to go anywhere. If Cabrera plays like this, where he can play all over the place, it'd be hard to move him off. So the one thing that's encouraging is just by adding Birdie, the bench got so much better. Because now if you start him, Cabrera's on the bench, or if you start Cabrera, Birdie's on the bench. And man, I can't wait to see Austin Wells as well. I want to see him play. I think he's going to start tomorrow. I hope he does. I can't wait to see him out there. And just you're looking for a couple of guys to have better at bats in game 2. Stanton didn't look very good, neither did Torres, but I think that over time they're going to have fine seasons. And Aaron Judge had a nice looking double, and that was about it. His at bats weren't too good today either. But overall, I mean, look, I think Soto and Volpe saw like 50 pitches between the two of them today, which is nuts. So,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's going to be a whole new looking offense with just by adding two guys like Soto and Verdugo. Verdugo is a guy that can see a lot of pitches but put the ball in play, and Soto can do it all. And that just adds so much to this lineup that desperately needed it, because we went from having McKinney and Bowers, who were just free swingers that would occasionally pop one, to guys that are going to work the counts and actually have professional at bats. So it just having that 2-3 punch of Soto and Judge, it's unfair. And when Judge starts to hit, and he will start to hit sooner than later, it's going to be even more unfair. So just the sky is the limit. I've been saying this about this offense. It's going to be really, really good. And we saw today what productive at-bats can lead to. What Tat said earlier, if you put enough cracks in the dam, it's going to start to flood or leak.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what they did today. And they didn't do that last year because they were just swinging away 2 pitch at-bats, 3 pitch at-bats. Now you're seeing 8, 9 pitch at-bats. They're making these guys work, and they're getting them out of the game quickly. Last year, Valdez would have probably had a 7-inning start on opening day and shut us down. Now we took him out early. Climb back and end up winning a game. It's all you can ask for, especially on game 1. It's a great way to start the season.
The key to take away of this offense is versatility. That's the word I have for this offense.
Yeah.
Versatility. They can beat you in numerous different ways. By taking a bunch of pitches, going the other way. They're smarter at bats. They can sack flies now, and doubles in the gap. Take what the pitcher's giving you. We just saw a lot more versatility with Birdie in there. I love the Birdie trait. There's going to be speed along with Volpe. His speed, so now you're going to have speed on the base pass, and you've got the big boppers in there. How good did Rizzo look? I mean, we all collectively held our breath when Rizzo got hit by a pitch.
Oh my God, yeah.
Again.
Oh my God, we have no backup yet.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God, but then he came through, and his at bats since spring have been ridiculous, like perfection. Yeah. So he's another one, man. Like this offense is just. I'm getting dynasty vibes, just the way the approach. I'm getting dynasty vibes from the approach and the energy. That's what I love to see. And, to the younger viewers that maybe didn't see the dynasty and its prime, that's the kind of quality that you saw, minus the double plays, but the constant working the pitchers down. Just basically, as Damian pointed out, the pitcher was toast by the 4th inning, completely toast. Yeah. Because we'd seen every pitch. Torres worked a ton of counts. Verdugo, Soto, they all worked a ton of counts. And of course, Volpe worked a ton of counts. It was just insane. That's what we just saw. And that's what we saw a lot in the Joe Torre era. Just wear them down, and then break through. If it's not the starter, then it'll be the middle relief, and that's how we've always done it. So, I love that, and the amount of emotions that I went through was just insane. Because in the 4th inning, I'm like, oh God, exactly, not again. But then a couple innings later, I'm like, we're back. So,
from here we go to shit. Here we go, and then it's like here we go.
Here, Uncle Tats. Uncle Tats, this is your holiday, man. This is your day. This is my day. So absolutely. I want to hear a night with Uncle T with the opening day. Where were you? How was it? What were your emotions?
I was right where I said I was going to be. I was at Prime Burger and Bar in Comac. Have my wings, my beer, my shot of Jameson, and I was sitting right in front of the TV. I had all the screens because they all know who I'm coming. They all know I'm coming. They were all ready to go. As soon as I walked in, they're like, "What are you drinking?" I'm like, "You know what I'm drinking."
Let's go.
And it was we were all laughing, cheering. A couple of guys were cheering on. Met a couple of interacted with some new people that were sitting there. Just like every other opening day. Out in the public. Interacting with other fans of the game. It's something I look forward to every year. I love it, but it really, I gotta say, even with the stress of the year, at the beginning of the game, this is going to be one that I remember. I I think this was one of the more enjoyable opening days for a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that I can remember. Easy. I can remember a more fun game to start the season.
But before we close it out, we have to go around and figure out or talk about what we thought of the construction of the lineup and any changes that you would make coming into tomorrow. So, Rob, we'll start it off with you. We'll go around the horn, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised to see Trevino out there because I kind of corrected myself. Yet we were doing our predictions for the lineup just because the fact that we had a lefty going against a lefty.
Yeah.
But I think it was fine. I wanted to see Birdie out there, but I'm hoping to see him sooner than later. Once again, I absolutely love that trade. I can't wait to see the guy play. But overall, I think the lineup was fine. I saw people complaining about it, which let me know baseball is back. The fact that game 1 of 162, we're already complaining about the lineup. I mean, what are we doing here? The lineup was fine. I mean, what else did you want to do other than Birdie over Cabrera, which ended up being a good decision because Cabrera kind of won us that game in a sense, helped us win that game. The lineup was absolutely fine. We'll see Austin Wells tomorrow. I think that's really the only change. You might see Birdie get in there in some capacity, and you'll probably see Wells get the start at catcher. But I don't think too much of a difference. Do they maybe lead off Verdugo with going against the righty tomorrow? I don't know who the hell the Astros are starting, but we'll see. But I don't think we're going to see too much change. Is it Javier? Okay, I don't think we're going to see too much change then.
Okay, so I mean, the only thing that I could think of, well, first of all, Wells needs to be our catcher, so that's the first move I make. The second move I make is actually, I think I would move Torres to the middle of the order. I think he's more comfortable there. He doesn't strike me as a leadoff guy. If anything, he's like more of a number 2 hitter than a number 1. But I think he's better suited in the middle of the order. So what I would do is I'd swap him with Volpe or Verdugo. I would put one of them in the leadoff spot and move Torres to the middle of the order. I think Torres is better suited there. I think his bat quality is better there. Because his power is more suited there. But not to say he had bad at bats, to be honest. Like, he worked a lot of counts, and I'm not going to shit on Torres. Maybe not the best range at second base tonight, but his at bats were fine. It was just kind of bad luck that he didn't do more with it. But I still would swap it around. I think Volpe or Verdugo are better suited at the top of the order with that energy that they provide. So that's the first. That's one of the main moves I would do. Second move, Wells. And listen, I want Birdie to be our everyday third baseman until DJ LeMahieu's back. But I think it's a slap in the face to Ozzie if we drop him tomorrow. I don't think that's fair. We need to ride our hot hand. This is one of the things the Yankees always do. They don't believe in hot. Well, it's time to believe in hot because this is a different year. This is it's a different energy. So let's go with hot. I think Cabrera's earned the start, and then we can put Birdie in game 3. But I think in our next episode we'll really break down the Birdie trade because I really think that it'll make a big difference to this team. Whether it's the bench or the starting lineup, I think it's going to be a big contributor.
Yeah, and if anybody that doesn't know, the initial reaction to the trade, Donald did put a video clip out. So if you go onto the videos of the channel, you will see Donald's initial breakdown of the trade and his reaction to that. Well worth watching, along with all our other content as well, by the way. But Damian, what do you think of today's lineup? What changes would you make, if any?
Today's lineup was exactly, I think, what it should have been. I think Torres was there out of necessity, obviously. With DJ being out and, of course, Framber being a left-hander. So I think that was more necessity than something that's going to be set in stone. Tomorrow, absolutely, Wells needs to be in the lineup, considering how well he works with Rodon. Rodon's a completely different pitcher with Wells. It's night and day. For whatever reason, they click, and, Rodon, his game is at another level when Wells is his catcher. As far as Oswaldo, I keep Oswaldo there. Again, Christian Javier is pitching tomorrow. So the more left-hand bats we can have in the lineup, the better. So I'm keeping Oswaldo in the lineup. I am going to switch Glaber and put in Verdugo at the one hole, just for the fact that Verdugo, obviously he's got hundreds of at bats at the leadoff position. He's used to it. He's comfortable there. And I think, after today, Verdugo's going to build off of what he did. I think he has actually decent numbers against Javier. Most people did last season. Javier was not the same pitcher last year. And other than that, I'm keeping everything the same. And one thing I want to say is I hope the Yankees keep the lineups the same for the most part. Obviously, you got to have a few moving parts here and there. But the biggest thing is consistency. And, baseball players are creatures of habit. So when they have consistency in their lineups and they know where they're going to hit for whatever reason, again, they're creatures of habit. So I pray for more consistency. I think we led the league in like 354 different at different lineups last season. So I pray that we have more consistency there. But other than that, that's the only thing I'm going to touch as far as the lineup tomorrow.
Yep. And I think
as far as today's lineup goes, I mean, listen, I didn't have any complaints about the lineup. Like Damian said, they had to put Gleyber Torres at the leadoff spot. Ideally, I like to put Gleyber Torres at that number 5 spot if it was up, if in a perfect world. I would have had John, and then I would have had Anthony Rizzo hit cleanup. I was a little surprised when they had Giancarlo hit cleanup. I mean, again, I'm not complaining, but what was that?
Good point. Agree.
Yeah, I'm not complaining, right? But I would have much rather had Anthony Rizzo. I think he's the perfect number 4 guy. Obviously, Soto at Soto at number 2, Judge at 3. That's perfect. Don't mess around with that. I would have had Rizzo at 4. Perfect world, I would have had Gleyber at 5. But given the situation, I would have had Stanton at that 6 to 7 spot. I would have had Trevino hit last. Personally, that would have been me. But hopefully tomorrow, I think Wells is going to play tomorrow. I have no doubt. Him and Rodon have a good chemistry going, and I know Rodon is going to say, I want Wells. If they try to put in Trevino, I think he's going to have a voice in that. So, but Wells absolutely needs to play tomorrow. And as far as where to bat Wells, I would bat him in the 7th spot probably. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's where I would put him. Probably in that 7th spot, and then put Verdugo at the leadoff spot. I think Verdugo is a perfect leadoff guy. Then then Soto, then Judge, then Rizzo, then Torres, then Stanton, then Wells. Yeah, Wells, Volpe. You guys got me. I'm going down the list here, but there's a few spots that I would have changed, but given today's lineup, the only thing really, the big thing I would have changed was Rizzo at the cleanup at the number 4 spot. That's it.
That's a great point, man. I completely agree with Rizzo in the cleanup spot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, for the lineup, look, I didn't have an issue with it when it was first put out. In hindsight, if it was really me, I would have switched Rizzo and Stanton 4 and 5. I had no issue with that. I was actually surprised to see Volpe more near the middle. So I think that you're going to see. I want to see Cabrera, and again, as much as I really want to see Birdie get involved and see what he can do in a lineup with these guys. I like Donald said, play the hot hand. Cabrera had a good day at the plate. Ride it out. And I'll go. I'm leaning more that way. Let Birdie get one more day with the club. He just got here. Let him get to at least say hello and unpack his bag before we start throwing him to the wolves of the Astros.
Good point.
So let him ease in. If it was a complete disaster today, maybe it's a different story. But like I said, we can only go off the game we played. So I'm keeping the hot hammer Cabrera in the lineup. What I did really, I thought that you would see Judge, then Soto 2 and 3, but with Soto's patience at the plate, having Soto second and Judge third is the perfect 1-2 punch for this lineup. They are going. And then if you have Verdugo or Torres, depending if it's righty or lefty, until DJ is healthy, then we'll see where everything else fits in. But for what we have right now, I'm leaving. I'm using Torres or Verdugo, depending on if the starter is righty or lefty. And then that 6th or 7th spot will flip flop. So that's how I feel about that. I do expect to see Wells in the lineup tomorrow.
Totally agree, guys. So I think to close it out, right? We'll do our player awards for the game, and then close it out. So everyone in the chat, bring your opinions in. So we're going to start with the MVP, the low-key MVP, pitcher of the game, right? And then give Aaron Boone a rating out of 10, and the could do better award, right? So that's your 5. Let's start with Damien.
Man, MVP. Oh man, that's a toss up. I kind of want to give it to the entire team, honestly. Just because it wasn't just one guy, you know what I mean? It was really a team effort between pitching, between the defense, Soto, Verdugo, Oswaldo. I mean, without Oswaldo, we don't win the game. Without Verdugo, we don't win the game. Without Soto, we don't win the game. It's so many to go around. So it was like a total team effort. So I hate to only give it to one person. I think it's really a team MVP award tonight. So I'm going to give it to the team. You know what I mean?
The low-key MVP?
Yeah, what's that?
The low-key MVP.
Oh, low-key MVP, Oswaldo Cabrera. Absolutely. Oswaldo definitely low-key. He's the smallest name in the lineup. When it comes to all these big names, but I mean, the guy came through bigger than anybody else on the team today, as far as offensively goes. Pitching, I'm going to give it to Loaisiga. Came in 2 innings, shutout ball. He came in, did his thing after a terrible spring training, where he was getting knocked around. So Loaisiga, Johnny Lowe, he definitely did his thing. So he gets that for sure.
Aaron Boone out of 10.
Aaron Boone, man, we didn't see Aaron Boone much today, so I'm going to give him a 10. He stayed out of everybody's way, so I'm going to give him a 10. I'm definitely going to give
mark that down.
Absolutely.
We're already off to a great start on the Chronicles. Aaron Boone got a 10 out of 10.
Absolutely. Really quick, gentlemen, I got to go. I really appreciate the invite. Tats, again, I appreciate you. Rob, I appreciate you. Donald, I appreciate you. Tats, April 4th.
Before you do sign off, promote your upcoming show with the Morning Brew.
Absolutely. Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Morning Brew Sports, doing the pregame show with Guy Hector. As we know, we love him. Jigga, as we all know, we love him. Morning Brew Sports. Like I said, the team is great, and I can't wait to be aboard with those guys. Tats, congratulations on the April 4th. I'm sorry, April 6th for that. I would greatly, for the fundraiser, I greatly appreciate obviously being on there. I got a personal thing with that as well. But congratulations to the success guys. Continue doing what you guys do. I love you guys. Appreciate the show. Appreciate the invite, and I hope you guys have a great night, man.
Thanks for being on, Damien.
All right, fellas. Good night.
Your turn for the awards.
My turn for the awards, man. As far as MVP, like Damien said, it was such a team effort. But you know what, man? I'm gonna give it a Nestor Cortez. All right, I'm gonna give it a Nestor Cortez because he turned it around. I mean, I was very critical of him. He's been my question mark. I'm giving the MVP to Nestor Cortez. As far as low key, I got to give it to Cabrera. I mean, he hit that solo shot, and if it wasn't for him, who knows where the Yankees would have been in that game. So he played, that home run was a big one. It was a solo shot, but it was a big one. It was an important one. Aaron Boone, I give Aaron Boone a 10 out of 10. Aaron Boone, I mean, you didn't hear him. You didn't come out to the umpire and start yelling at the umpire or do his little pose here. Boom! So you didn't see
Who's
that
your
from him.
pitcher?
So
Who's
you know
your
what,
best
man?
pitcher?
Everybody, what was
Who
that?
got the pitching award for you?
I didn't hear you.
Who got the pitching award?
Oh, the pitching award. I mean, you got to give it to Loaizaga. I mean, you got to give it to Loaizaga. He came in and pitched 2 innings and did well. He got out. I mean, he got himself in a little bit of a jam, but he got out. He came through when it mattered. So, yeah, I give it to Johnny Lowe, man.
Beautiful. Robinho.
Rob? Who?
Rob.
Robinho.
Me.
He called
me.
it
My
was like a Brazilian name.
It's my turn.
It's like,
Okay, my MVP is Juan Soto. There's no without him. He got the first run on the board. His defense won the game. It's Juan Soto. My low key MVP is Anthony Volpe because I saw so much in those at bats today that we did not see from him last year. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what he does the rest of the way through. Aaron Boone gets 10 out of 10. He was brilliant today. We did not have to talk about him, which is always a good sign. He did not affect the game. He made all the right calls. He did not pull Nestor too early, which I thought he would. He let him go out there and let him finish the game or finish 5 innings. Best pitcher, I'm going to go Hamilton. I think Hamilton's stuff. Loaizaga got tattooed a little bit. He got bailed out as well. Hamilton looked really good. He looked really freaking good. And so, yeah, he gets my best pitcher. And wasn't there one more award that you mentioned?
Yeah. Could do better or take the L award, whichever one you want.
Could do better or take the L. Giancarlo Stanton, his at-bats looked really, really poor today. That one strikeout, I think it was when Judge and Stanton struck out back-to-back, they both looked really bad, but Stanton swung at a pitch that was like at his feet.
way out.
And I was like, Giancarlo, come on. But it was a bad, really bad swing. But one game against a really filthy pitcher, so I'm not going to look too much into that. Hopefully he comes out tomorrow and just smacks one over that ugly-ass train track so we can get the Giancarlo of old. But, yeah, for me, for game one, he gets the L.
All right. So my awards before we close it off with Uncle T. I have to go with Rob here. The MVP is no other than Juan Soto. Juan Soto is the difference of the game. He closed out the game, for God's sake, with that incredible throw. Just the energy is different. It's a different team because of Juan Soto. So he gets the MVP. Low-key MVP, I'm giving it to Verdugo because of that catch. That catch in left field saved the game. And also, he did drive in the go-ahead run with a really nice, long, hard-working at-bat. He pulled out. He managed to file off a bunch of pitches, kept himself in the game, kept himself in the at-bat, and then absolutely hit a nice sac fly. So he gets the low-key. Best pitcher, I'm giving it to Hamilton. Hamilton was the one that really just dominated. Aaron Boone gets the perfect 10 because not only did he trust Nestor Cortez when I think the majority of us would have given up on him, he trusted him, and Cortez repaid him. So credit to Nestor Cortez for that, and credit for Aaron Boone for going with that because that was a tough call. Going with Loaizaga for 2 innings again. He might have gone with more of a low leverage reliever just for matchups, but he didn't. He trusted Loaizaga. He went with the better arm. It paid off, and then Hamilton is probably our best bullpen arm, full stop. And he was fantastic. And so yeah, he gets that award. As for the take the L award, I'm giving it to the Houston Astros. Because fuck you guys. I mean, I would have given it to Clay Holmes, but I have to give it to the Astros because fuck you guys. So, all right, Uncle T.
All right, my MVP, it's got to be Soto. The guy came his first game in the pinstripes on the road against our rival. He showed up to play and just grinded all game, whether it was at the plate, on the field. He was always. It seemed like he was always involved with what was going on. So Soto gets my MVP on that. Take the L. It's got to be Stanton because he made me look stupid today. Because all morning on the Strike Zones channel and on the Morning Brew, I kept predicting that Stanton was going to just ball today and just reset, set the record straight, that he was healthy, that he was back, that he was going to grind out at bats. So Stanton gets my L because he made me look like a liar. So get that feedback in here.
Sorry about that. I got to run real quick, but you're good.
Yep. No, NFP, I appreciate you coming on, hanging out with us, bro.
Appreciate you, NFP.
Yep.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys.
Subscribe to the Strike Zone channel as well. Yep.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah. Please subscribe, guys, and make sure you guys subscribe to the Pinstripe Chronicles. They do amazing work. So,
my brother.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'll see y'all later.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you.
All right.
And with Boone, 10 out of 10. He didn't try to get overly cute with the opening day lineup. He didn't make any decisions that cost us the game. He pretty much just let them players play. And we don't get to see that from him too often. So 10 out of 10 for Boone. My low-key MVP, that one I'm really sitting tough with. I'm going to agree with Rob with Volpe. I think that, he's shown that he came to make the corrections from last year, and he's not looking to be a 200 hitter again. He put some really good at-bats together. So my low-key MVP, I'm going to give it to Volpe.
I agree. You know what we should do? Every game we should have these awards, right? And then we should tally it to see who has the most of each, and we can give the season awards at the end. With those awards. How about that?
I think that's something we should definitely do.
Yeah, and we'll get everyone in the chats ones as well, so we can have make it fair.
That's a lot of data to compile.
That's a lot, but we can make it general. Not every single person. The general consensus.
Yeah. But that is going to wrap things up for us today. Hope you guys all enjoyed this late post-game show on the Pinstripe Chronicles. We are going to be trying to do these more often than not. Jonathan, right now the After Dark show is no more. We are working on some new things. There will be a late night show coming back, but it will be under a different situation. I'll put it that way. And to nobody,
it's actually a lot more exciting than that. It's actually a really cool idea. Another situation sounds ominous as shit. It's actually really
it's a little more out of the box than what we've done. Donald thinks taxes and accountant. Yeah, no, I'm not. I know a couple, but that doesn't make me good with math. But no, we do appreciate everybody coming up. We are going to, like I said, we're going to try to do these more often than not. But like we said, when we hit the 600 mark, the post-game show most likely, will be more for the subscribers. So make sure you are subscribed so you can be involved with the discussions and the post-game excitement. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Share this out with your friends, your family, the stranger on the corner. This has been the Pinstripe Chronicles. Thank you all for spending your evening with us. Thank you all for enjoying the win. Oh, that's a sexy cup right there, Donald.
It sure is. Respect.
And besides, I always say, wear your pinstripes of pride and play on.
Soto!